and a juice. And then I have a presentation to attend at Ann's Therapy Center this morning. So that's where I'm headed right now after I get my juice. Almonds. Very.
Yeah, it looks lighter than it really is.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
And then my skin is also darker around my mouth, so.
Right, so you have to choose something in the middle.
Yep. Different colors all the time.
Mm-hmm. Then, of course, in the summer, you'll probably have to come back and get rematched.
Yep, or just add some
bronzer.
It's a painting class every time.
Literally. This looks pretty dang good, though. That's a 45. If I go up to a 46, I can show you on the other side.
Mm-hmm. It actually sounds familiar.
The 46 does, yeah.
The 45 sounds familiar.
Oh, the 45 does, yeah.
Let's see.
They both look good. 46 is just a tiny bit more neutral, I'd say. The 45 has a little bit more warmth. I don't want to use the word orange, but it does have a tiny bit more in there to bring the warmth. They're both more yellow-based foundations, though. 46. This one's 45. That one's 46. You can't go wrong. Either or.
Maybe this one.
Yeah. You like the 46?
Because that was on this side.
Yeah. Honestly, barely a difference. But I wouldn't go to a 47. 47 would be too dark then. Because these oxidize a little bit as you wear.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, then let's go with the one you put on this side.
45?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, we're home. Oh, look at my hair, hon. I need to wash my hair and style it soon. But anyways, we just got home. I picked Ann up from therapy. Another task-oriented day, uneventful, not a whole lot going on. I mean, you know, that's kind of how daily vlogging is. You'll have some days where there's a lot going on, really fun, interesting things. Then you'll have other days where it's just kind of blah. Nobody's life is lit 24/7 around the clock. So this is just one of kind of those down days. But I did want to chat with you guys about what went down in the presentation, just to kind of fill y'all in. So this will kind of be like an autism mom kind of chat coming up in the vlog in a few minutes, but a few other things before that. So Ann is not feeling too well, you guys. I think she's got some allergies going on. Hopefully it's not like a little cold or something, but she has a runny nose. She's like rubbing. She's irritated, as you can see. She's not feeling it. She's supposed to have in-home therapy this afternoon. I don't know if she's really gonna be participating all that well because of the fact that she's not feeling too well, but I didn't want to cancel it. So we'll just kind of, you know, play it by ear when her therapist gets here, but hopefully she'll be okay. I hate when Ann is not well, you know? I hate it. Working on her drinking out of an open cup. She's been doing pretty good with it. It's just sometimes us having to remind her that it's not a sippy cup because she'll treat it like a sippy cup and make a big mess. So I just try to stay close and guide her. But do you see what I'm saying? Like her, the area around her nose is really red and stuff. She's really been rubbing and sneezing a lot and everything. She's got the runny nose. So I feel bad for my baby because she's not feeling too good. I hope we can take a nap, Mommy.
Wait, I tried.
You want to take a nap? You really think you're a big girl with this cup, don't you? The little feet. She's wearing her sweater that her auntie bought her for her birthday. She gets so many compliments on this freaking sweater. I love it though, it is adorable, but you just almost have to wonder, why is it so adorable? Almost done. Big girl things. Okay, I'm back. Ann ended up wanting to take a nap, so I went ahead and put her to sleep. And then she was kind of like slobbing on me and everything, so I had to change my shirt. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I went to the mall, to make an exchange because something I bought my mom when I was getting ready to wrap it yesterday, I realized that it was a little bit damaged. So I went ahead and took it back and got a different one, which is going to be getting shipped to me. So that's fine. Also, while I was out, I ended up getting myself a couple things. Someone asked me on Instagram yesterday if I had a chance to buy myself anything while I was shopping for everyone else, and I actually did today. Bought 2 things from Macy's. Let me sit down so I can talk to you guys. Okay, let me sit right here. Okay, I'm gonna sit right here. Y'all see me? I love the lighting from this window. It's like so even and perfect. And there's like this filter on it because I have these sheer curtains. So it's not like direct sunlight, but it's like the perfect filtered daylight. I just really love it. To me, it's like the equivalent, if not better than studio lights. But anyway, let me show y'all what I got for myself today. I couldn't resist. These are so cute. Ooh. These Nike slides. I needed some new slides, and these were just really fun. It's basically just a red and gold type of color. I know it looks a little green on the camera, but that's gold. As y'all saw, I just picked up some new foundation from MAC. Just a Studio Fix matte full coverage foundation. Tried to let the girl match me because I haven't been to MAC in a while, like not regularly. Definitely haven't bought any foundation from them in a while. So I didn't realize that they have this new like guaranteed match thing. You guys let me know how new that is, because when I was shopping there for foundation, I guess years ago, they didn't have it like that. They weren't making those kind of claims. So the girl, a white girl, she was trying to match me and she was making hella mistakes. So I pulled out my camera because I was gonna try to capture some of it, but I pulled out my camera too late. But yeah, she was making a gang of mistakes, and then she was like blaming it on my skin tone. It was kind of cute though, because she was just like, your skin tone is deceiving. It looks lighter than it actually is. You're actually a lot darker than you look. And I'm like, how the hell are you darker than you look? You either look like you look or you don't look like you look. I mean, which one is it, hon? She was struggling. I was cracking up because I knew what shade I needed to begin with, but she was so sure she could do a better job at matching it, so I let her do it. So it was kind of funny. But I ended up going with the NC45. Anyway, so this presentation that I went to today, I kind of wanted to fill you guys in a little bit because I had some serious revelational moments during the presentation. It was really good though, super intimate. I didn't really get to vlog it, of course, because it's just like 6 people in there and people don't want to be filmed. You know, you guys know about all of that. You guys know about my anxiety with that. I do not like filming people who don't want to be filmed. I don't like being asked not to film people that I'm not even trying to film. Like, I just don't like any of that. It's just very presumptuous. It puts me in an uncomfortable position because I'm the one holding the camera. It makes me feel attacked, and it makes me feel like I'm the one being accused of purposely making someone else uncomfortable or not caring about others around me, or in that kind of thing. It just puts me in a really weird mental space. So I hate it. So I wasn't gonna film it, but I did film a little bit of just to kind of show you guys what the room looked like or whatever. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of the vibe. But it was really good. There was one presenter, and there was this other therapist sitting in there. I don't know what the hell she was doing in there, but she was just kind of sitting there with her little booklet, just looking at everybody. So I don't know what she was doing, because she contributed nothing intellectually. She was just kind of sitting there. But anyway, it was really good. I'm giving you guys all these unnecessary details, but that's how I talk. But it was really good though. It was a presentation about getting your child to communicate effectively. And what I found most helpful about the presentation is that although it was built for, you know, parents of children on the spectrum, I was taking a lot from it that could apply to neurotypically developing kids. Like, I was thinking, absolutely going to share the presentation with my sister for her little 2-year-old, and I have some other friends who could probably use that information for their kids as well. Very insightful. But one of the things about those presentations is that I always come out of it having learned more, but sometimes I feel a little bit sad just because it's another form of a reminder of my situation with my daughter's condition. So when I have those moments where I'm feeling like high and I'm just like, I'm so happy with things, you know, my daughter's doing great and I love her and I'm feeling good about things, you know, as it relates to her development, then I go to a presentation like that, and although I learn more, it's just a reminder that she's on the spectrum and there are things that she can't do, and these are her deficits, and it's just a reminder of it. It's necessary in order to learn new things. It's necessary in order to overcome ignorance and doubt, and to empower myself to be a better mom to her, and all these wonderful things that come out of it. But I can't stop myself from feeling a little sad sometimes in those meetings. And I know I'm not alone, because I can just look around the room and see the facial expressions and the body language of all the other parents sitting there as well, because the information being delivered is very straightforward. Like, it's not sugar coated at all. It is like, these are the facts, this is what you need to be doing, like this and this and this. And I can just look around the room and I can just feel the energy. And there was a couple in there with me today who were obviously uncomfortable. Like, they were just, I mean, they were squirming, and I get it, it was early. Some people were tired, some people were, you know, some people need to be stimulated during presentations and things. So it could have just been that they were just over it, like just getting bored, you know, mentally. But when I tell you, it was obvious that something was going on. I mean, they were fidgeting, they were moving, and I was just looking like, you can at least play it off, you know, like as adults, when we're sitting through something that we might not necessarily be enjoying to the utmost, you're still supposed to behave a certain way and like carry yourself a certain way. And I was just really surprised. I'm like, are they young? But then I looked at their faces and I'm like, no, they're not young. When the presentation began, and this is what I loved about it, and this is what I love about the presentations that take place at the center, each of the presentations are being presented by a representative of whatever discipline is presenting. So if it's occupational therapy, it's going to be an occupational therapist. If it's speech, it's going to be a speech therapist. So this particular one was about communication, so obviously speech. And so before starting to talk about anything speech related, she began by talking about what exactly communication is and what the different phases leading into communication are to begin with. So she wasn't just coming right in talking about autism and talking about, you know, this is what it is, this is what you need to be doing. Nope. If you come to those presentations thinking you're getting ready to get a handbook of tips, it's not going to be tips. It's going to be a presentation of what exactly is the challenge we're trying to overcome. So in that case, it was communication or lack thereof. And then she went on to talk about ways of thinking about and how to approach helping our children based on where they are in those phases of development with speech. And as soon as she started off the presentation in that way, in my mind, and I probably physically did it too, I was thinking, yes, like this is the kind of information that I want for myself. Don't tell me what to do. Tell me how to think about my current situation so that I can make an informed decision on what to do. Because every child is different, so there is not going to be a handbook. So I was really loving that about the approach. But anyway, it was good in that sense. But a couple of takeaways just off the top of my head, because I mean the presentation was an hour and 15 minutes, so these are just things I remember right off the top of my head. But I realized that I'm probably doing things wrong with Anne. Like I'm probably making some unintentional mistakes. Like one of the things that stood out to me was reading. So what I took from it is when it comes to the aspect of reading, and this is one of the things that I know I was doing wrong all this time, is I'll have all these books for Anne. Now she can't read, obviously. Even if she wasn't on the spectrum, she wouldn't be able to read at 3 necessarily, but her communication is very poor. I mean, you guys know that. That was one of the red flags as to why we even got her evaluated for ASD. So her communication is poor. So why am I sitting there reading full paragraphs to her? Anne is usually not extremely interested in the books because I'm sitting there speaking to her in words and in ways that she can't understand, and I'm expecting her to be interested in that. That's the wrong approach, but I didn't know that. And so I'm just constantly reading to her, constantly trying to keep her seated, keep her interested in these books. And all she wants to do is turn the pages. All she wants to do is see pictures. And after today's presentation, what I learned was for children in Anne's situation, for children at her stage in verbal communication development, you don't need to sit there and read full paragraphs to them. In fact, it's discouraged that you do that. I should be speaking about the photos. I should be making sounds. You know, if it's a truck, I should be making, you know, horn sounds. If it's an animal, I should be making that animal sound. I should be getting her engaged in the idea of being read to, not necessarily the actual practice, because she's not there yet. And as she said it, the presenter, I was like, I receive that. I receive it, because that's definitely me. I'm the one sitting there trying to force her to understand something that she can't, because I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. Another thing that I learned, and I'm gonna, you know, stop here. This will be the last thing I mention because I don't want to draw this out too much. But the other thing that I learned was with speech development, it doesn't begin with words. It never has, it never will, for no kid on the spectrum or not. I remember when Anne was first diagnosed and we started speech therapy. She was actually 15 months when she started speech therapy. I know that I mentioned to you guys that she was diagnosed with autism at 18 months, but believe me, from the time she turned 1, we knew that something was different, and we started her in speech therapy right away because that's what we knew needed to happen. She was later diagnosed down the line, but we got her right into speech therapy, so I'm just saying that. Anyway, I didn't know anything about speech therapy. So when we took her, I guess I was expecting, the expectation that I had was that, you know, speech therapy. So I'm thinking she'd be sitting at a table with a therapist, and therapist would be trying to like sound out words and trying to, different techniques to get her to speak. When we would take her to these sessions, because she went like, I think she was going like 2 or 3 times a week at that time, we would take her to these sessions and her and the therapist would just be playing. And I remember I would text my husband and be like, I'm over this. Like, you know, I was like, I don't know what is going on, but I'm driving her all the way, because we would drive all the way to North Shore. We lived in the city of Chicago, but North Shore is kind of far from like the South Side. And I'm just like, I'm driving all the way out here, you know, all these days of the week for her to play with this woman. I was like, I don't know, you know, I was, you know, I didn't get it. And it really wasn't until today that it actually came full circle for me. I mean, the therapist at the time, the speech therapist, she explained what she was doing and everything, but it still to me just wasn't really resonating, because I'm looking at it from a very clinical perspective, and I'm just, you know, when you think about therapy, you think about them addressing that exact thing. Like when my sister was doing physical therapy, they were physically trying to get her to walk. They were physically trying to, you know, I was just thinking of it very directly. Communication and speech is not like that. Communication starts to develop very early on in infants, right? And it expresses itself very differently as we go through the developmental time frame. So in the beginning, it could be things like smiling, waving, then it progresses to pointing, reaching, then it progresses to, you know, laughter and facial expression and whatever, and then it ends up in verbal communication, but it doesn't start that way. And just because a child is talking doesn't mean that's the beginning of their speech journey. The speech journey actually would have began probably a whole year before that in ways that you didn't even realize, because it had nothing to do with words. And so when the speech therapist back in the day was working with Anne and playing with her and trying to get her to interact with her in those ways, she was trying to develop speech. She was trying to develop the need for speech. And that it all started to make sense to me today. And I was just sitting there so happy. I was so filled with so much joy and understanding, because that's what understanding gives me. It gives me joy. I'm just like, yes, I get it now. And it just helps me to understand the therapeutic approach, like what exactly is the therapist doing? Because speech doesn't just, you know, like I said, it's not just spontaneous speaking. Speech is the need to communicate ideas, wants, needs, feelings, and those just don't come from words. Words is a vehicle for that exchange, but communication is sparked by a desire for those things I just mentioned. So it's an extremely fascinating discipline. And I was really just sitting there enjoying the presentation today, guys. So I have a copy of it. I'm going to share with my husband and my sisters and everybody, because they all are interested. And I'm trying to think of a way I can share with you guys without like impeding on any sort of like privacy and copyright issues that the center may have. I'm going to think about it a little bit more and figure out a way to share that with you all, because I know some of you are in, you know, some of you who have children on the spectrum, you're already involved in therapy programs, so this is not necessarily for you, because I'm sure you guys have the resources that you need and want. But for those of you who don't have access to those resources, I'm going to think of a way to get that information to you guys. But anyway, today was fantastic. I went through some ups and downs because, you know, like I mentioned in the beginning, sometimes I get sad just kind of being reminded of my reality, but then I also come out of that feeling more empowered because I have more information. Those sessions also force me to kind of be involved with other parents who are going through the same thing. So I'm getting, you know, I'm feeding off of their energies, and I'm making connections, and I'm having conversations. So that's the upside to it all. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like every day I just feel powerful. Every day I feel like the best autism mom that ever walked the planet. Absolutely not. I feel defeated more days than I don't. You know what I mean? So today was just kind of one of those days, but I'm just so happy that my sister is coming tomorrow. She'll be here tomorrow night. Like, you guys just don't understand. When my sisters are near, like physically near, my soul is replenished. Like, it's just a thing. Like, when you grow up really close to your siblings, or if you have a family member or anyone that's really, really close to you, when you have to be apart from them, it just really kind of drains you. What was I gonna say? So yeah, Anne's ABA therapist is going to be here in a couple of hours. So Anna's getting her nap in, so I'm happy about that. I probably won't vlog her and her therapist just because it's a little awkward sometimes because I don't really have their permission to vlog them. The more I experience them having the therapies here, I don't think it's super appropriate, but maybe one day we'll have that conversation and maybe I will do it. But you know, like I told y'all, people be real uncomfortable when they even see a camera. That's why usually like when I'm out in public, I'll just switch to my phone. For some reason, the assumption that maybe I'm on Facebook Live or Snapchat is a lot more reassuring for people than an actual camera. When people see this camera lens, this camera right here, hun, everything stops. Like people just lose it. And that's what happened in that restaurant that day. In a previous vlog back, if you haven't seen it, click here and join the party because it was a comment party, hun. Everyone had varying opinions about the situation that took place at around the 5-minute mark. I'm gonna actually talk about that right now, I might as well. I was in the restaurant with my friend and I was vlogging just a little bit, like the table and the plates and the coffee cup. Like I wasn't vlogging anybody because I also, actually my friend Jerry didn't really even want to be on the vlog either. I mean, it was just that kind of day, you know, we were just chilling. So I wasn't vlogging anyone's faces or anything. I was just kind of vlogging the table, and the waitress, one of the waitresses came over with our food. She wasn't our waitress, but she was just kind of just one of the people bringing the food out. And I feel like, I had my camera already recording when she walked up and I was just kind of filming the table. And she came up this way from behind me and then she wrapped around and came to this side of the table here. So she had a clear view of my camera before she even got to the table. She saw my camera and she had already prepared herself mentally to say something to me about the camera. And I just felt that. And then when she exclaimed that she didn't want to be on my camera or on my picture. She thought I was taking a picture. She didn't even know I was recording. When she exclaimed that she didn't want to be on there, I actually said, "You're not." And you guys heard me when I said that. But what you guys didn't get to perceive because you weren't there is that I actually paused after I said "you're not" because I was actually done with it with that. The reason I continued on to say the next thing that I said is because of the look on her face, which was not recorded, so you guys didn't get a chance to see that. But she was looking at me. Well, first of all, she was standing up, so she was kind of looking down and she was side-eyeing me and she was shaking her head when I said, first of all, the entire time she was talking, she was shaking her head the whole time. And when I said "you're not," she was shaking her head like I know you lying or whatever. Whatever was going through her head, I don't know. All I can go by is what I saw. And that's why I said, because I don't want you on my camera. Because me personally, I felt like I needed to give her a little extra reassurance with a little bit of shade sprinkled on top, because that's how I roll. Because that's me, that's my delivery, that's how I was feeling in that moment. She said how she felt, I wanted to say how I felt. And right after that, I don't know if you guys peeped, but the clip is cut. And then it goes into a different scene. You guys, y'all don't even know how my editing skills, I'd be like, I'll cut up a video, chop it, put one scene right here that actually occurred over there, put this happened yesterday, it's gonna look like it happened today. That's editing, and I'm kind of good at it. And so I cut it right after that because what happened next is that we both started laughing. But I don't want to put that part in there because I wanted it to be entertaining. So I left that part out, but we both started laughing. She laughed first, she was like, "Oh, okay," and she started giggling. And I giggled too, and I was like, "Hey, you know, I want you, you know, whatever." Because I was trying to get her to really see. And I also cut out my friend Jerry's response. He had a response as well. I cut that out because I knew you guys were gonna come for me and I definitely didn't need you coming for my friend. So I cut him out of all of that. He had something to say in the restaurant and in the car, but guess what? Y'all don't know what he said because, you know, that's how I wanted to do it. And the reason I feel like my response was appropriate in that moment is because with her shaking her head like that, and kind of like I said, side-eyeing me as though I'm lying to her, like I'm a child who just wants to record you because I want to make a meme out of you. I wanted her to see the flip side to the situation. Yes, you are the one on this side of the camera lens. Yes, you feel fearful of your privacy. Yes, you probably don't like the way you look or you feel a little insecure today, whatever. Whatever the reasons are, right? But on this side of the camera, the person that's holding the camera, they have their own set of values and things that are important to them as well. And I just wanted her as an adult to see that there are two sides to this thing. On my side, why would I want to capture you as a stranger and I don't know you? And furthermore, you are making me feel a little bit uncomfortable because you're telling me something that you don't want me to do. You know, it was like a directive. And on my end, I'm just like, but I wasn't even doing that. And you're making me feel like weird or bad because you are telling me that I'm responsible for making you uncomfortable, and I didn't even try to do that. It would have been different if she had said, are you filming me? Or, you know, am I on your camera? And then if I would have said yeah, then she could have been like, well, I don't want to be. Or, you know, maybe, you know, but she was like, she was just assuming that she was being captured, and she wasn't considering how I was feeling by her saying that. And then I'm sitting here with my friend, you don't know, we're on a date, you know what I mean, or anything. It's like, almost like I could have felt embarrassed. I know people who in my shoes would have felt embarrassed by that, even though I didn't, but I really wanted her to see the other side of that. And from her giggle and from the interaction that we had that you guys didn't see, because she ended up bringing some other food and stuff, you know, she didn't bring me any of my food. My food was already at the table. She brought me nothing else out, but she did end up having to bring back the pancakes because, and that was the other thing, you know, she was so worried about being on my picture. She had messed up Jerry's whole order. I don't know if you guys heard that in the background, but she had messed up his order and everything. So, but he's a sweetie pie though. But I mean, it was okay, it happens. But I just, you know, I just wanted her to see that there's more to it than just how you feel. There's the other side. The other person has a feeling about all of this as well. So I mean, it was kind of, in real life, it was kind of more harmless than came through on the camera. But again, I did that. You know, this is Vlogmas. This is the internet. This is entertainment. So I made it a little bit more entertaining for you guys. But had you been there, you know, like Jerry was sitting there, it wasn't that big of a deal. At the end of the day, I'm the star, editor, producer, director of MsVaughnTV, right? So anything you guys see on my channel is because I put it there for you to see it. There's no mistakes, y'all. There's no mistakes. There's a certain level of understanding that I want you guys to have about me, so I show you guys certain things so that you can get that. I don't want to just be on here and being like this brand ambassador or just this whatever, just be who people want me to be. I am who I am too, and I let certain things appear on my channel because it's important for me that you all know who you're watching. Like, it's important for me that you all know who I am, and I am a lot of different things, you know. It's a lot that goes into my personality and who I am and who I've become based on my experiences in life and all that, based on how I was raised, all of that. So some things I want you guys to see because to me it's just fair for you to see it so you can have a fair assessment of who you're watching. So I wanted to leave that in there because I wanted you guys to see and know that, first of all, the struggles of being a public vlog or vlogging in public, it's not easy. It's not all, you know, you see your favorite vloggers and they're all like all out and about, and they're, you know, consequences come with that. You know, there are people who are not okay with that, and there are plenty of times that I'm vlogging and stuff like that happens. I decided to leave that one in because I thought that you guys would at least trust me enough to know that I'm not just this evil person just walking around snapping on people. I mean, I feel like, you know, you guys should know me well enough to know that that's not what I would do. But I mean, some of y'all took from it what you wanted, and that's fine. And I wanted an opportunity to explain to you guys the struggles of, you know, vlogging in public, but whatever, things don't always go as planned, so that's fine. But I encounter stuff like that all the time. And sometimes the camera is still rolling because I'm in the midst of vlogging. But yeah, you know, everyone's human. You know, people go through different things. So again, I ain't mad at your comments. You guys have a right to feel how you want to feel. Y'all just be forgetting that I have a right to feel how I want to feel too, or any YouTuber that you watch for that matter. But anyway, I'm rambling. That's enough for today. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.